Hello, my name is Griselle Marino, Communications and Media Director for the Office of Community Advocacy. Welcome to Behind the Scenes, a show produced for you so that you could learn about our 12 advisory boards in the Office of Community Advocacy. And today I am honored to be here with Ms. Retha Boone-Fye, the Program Director for our Black Affairs Advisory Board. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Rita, your board was established in 1979. What was the reason back then, and why do we still need your board today?
That's a very good question. Back then, thanks to the spirited empathy of Athley Range, she wanted to talk to the Board of Commissioners. At that point, it was called the Metro-Dade Board of County Commissioners. And she talked to them about the fact that Black residents were not being given some of the services and not being given some of the things that they needed. And she wanted them to establish an office. So that office was established then as the Office of Black Affairs.
And this office continues to advocate for racial inequality, for job prosperity.
Yeah. Actually, when she did it, they came and they met. The Office of Black Affairs was established. And then in 1994, it was codified and it became under the Miami-Dade Board of Commissioners at that point to become the Black Affairs Advisory Board. So the board still exists for the same issues, to bring along equity, to bring services and make people aware of some of those things impacting, pretty much like all the other boards. We advocate on behalf of our different demographics, but we also make sure that we are specific about what we need and making those recommendations to the Board of County Commissioners.
And talking about the Board of County Commissioners, former Chairman Jean Monet's team, he created the State of Black Miami also to bring awareness to the issues of the Black community over here.
Yeah, and thank you to Commissioner Jean Monet's team. He was one of the first commissioners. He's not among the first, but he was one of the commissioners who came about and said, you know, we really need to study this from a countywide standpoint. Even though our board meets on a monthly basis, we don't get out in the community. At least we didn't until a few years ago. We would have our meetings at different places. So what we did with the State of Black Miami, and that first one was held at Florida Memorial University, which, as you know, is the only historically Black university here in Miami-Dade County. So that particular gathering really was focused on several issues that impacted our community: education, health, you know, those kinds of things, employment, lack of opportunity.
Is that what you call the Village Dialogue?
Well, yeah, we had started something called a Village Dialogue, but those dialogues were held at our meetings. This was a wider community-based situation. And so from a unique standpoint, he invited outside people from the different areas who were experts in those particular ones. And so one of the things that he talked about was, let's get together to talk about those issues that impact our communities, but more importantly, what can we do and who are the players that we can call to come to help us with these particular issues.
So your board not only advocates for the Black community, but also celebrates the goodness and the pioneers and those that are doing a great job in our community with signature events. One of them was Black History Month recently, correct?
Correct. Actually, we've been celebrating Black history for a number of years through what we call the Black Heritage Planning Committee. And that committee is comprised of volunteers, and most of them are county workers who wanted to get together to show some of the things that were happening in the Black community from a historical perspective as well as current events. And these are all positive things. So they wanted to celebrate Black culture. And so they put together some programming. We have an exhibit. We have programs throughout the month of February in celebration of Black History Month, particularly as it talks on a national level.
And coming up in June, that same committee is working for wonderful Pillars Award ceremony.
Absolutely. In 1999, I believe it was, then program director, I believe it was Willie Sims, Reverend Willie Sims, God rest his soul. He came up with an idea to celebrate people who are in the community doing things, and a lot of people don't know what they're doing. So when I came aboard in 2003, God, it's been a long time, I wanted to continue that. And so what we did was we have something called an annual Pillar Awards. And since then, it has grown And what we do also is we celebrate young pillars, because we want to bring up those who are coming behind these community pillars and make them future community pillars. We also have a scholarship established for them. So that event is going to be Saturday, June 14th at the Biscayne Bay Marriott.
Our vice chairman, Keone McKee, he created a Black Businessman in August, correct?
That's correct. And that is being celebrated in reference to that month, and that is the month of August, with the Miami-Dade Economic Advocacy Trust. It's the group, the entity that pulls it together, and we work in conjunction with them to talk about the Black businesses and celebrate Black businesses. They're also one of the organizations that have helped us with our Black World Guide. And I know you're going to talk about that in a minute.
Well,
but
I was reading about it, and
Yes.
I understand there's some cool changes for 2025 for the Black World Guide.
There are a lot of changes. For example, we just submitted the QR code, and we were able to get that successfully done thanks to our communications department. So now, just instead of having the actual guide, we have a QR code that allows people to download it so that we don't have to carry so many of them to the different events and organizations. And it's also available on our website.
Retha, you've been with the board for over 20 years.
I know.
Your dedication is incredible. Please tell us how you keep motivated.
I'll give you a case in point. I was at an event one day, and this young lady, I was trying to help her out doing some things, and I told her, I said, you know, I need to get, they have some food here, but I don't want to eat yet and everything. And she said, well, I'll get a takeout for you. And then she and I started chatting. And one of the things she mentioned to me was that her daughter was in school and she was having difficulty studying because of financing. So I invited her to apply for our scholarship, for our Young Pillar Scholarship, for her daughter to apply for it. And she got it. And she called me up and she said, almost in tears, she said, thank you so much for thinking of us. Those are some of the stories that motivate me. When we get the interns in our office and I later on see them move on and do different things and do good things in their community, or we can call somebody and say, I'll give you a case in point. I had a young man to come to our meeting and say that he had been formerly incarcerated and he was having difficulty getting hired. We talked to some of the people and said, do we have something called the second chance, the mayor's second chance? Let's see what this young man is about. And if he's going to be able to work for the county, I'm happy to report that about 3 months ago, I got an email from him saying, I've been hired, and I want to share with you that someone in the community gave me a glowing recommendation based on the fact of the community the service that I provided to that person. That warms my heart. That and the fact that I threatened him. Don't get in there and mess up, because it's my name on that list. And I feel very strongly about some of the things that happen in our community, and I want to make absolutely sure that they continue.
And if someone wants to get in touch with you, when does your board meet? When can they come?
Our board meets the first Wednesday of every month, except for the months of August and December, which kind of coincides with the Board of County Commissioners meeting. We meet the first Wednesday, typically at 10 a.m., and we meet most of the time we meet in the Stephen P. Clark Center, but we're also doing what we do, our outreach meetings, more or less the Village Dialogue, where we meet. Our last meeting was in the historic Coconut Grove area, in the West Grove and specifically, which is where a lot of the Black pioneers, particularly Bahamians and Black people from the South, came and made their homes. So we met with some of the residents, and I'm happy to say that that was one of our best attended meetings.
Retha, thank you so much for being with us today. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
You had asked me initially, what do I do in my spare time? I don't have a lot of it, but I'm a mindfulness facilitator. And that's something that has really helped me, particularly when it comes to helping people who are in my position of being a caretaker for an elderly person. Unfortunately, that relative passed, but I did learn a lot through mindfulness, and I'm happy to share that with other people.
Thank you for being you. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
And to our viewers, thanks for watching Behind the Scenes. Please follow us at Advocacy MDC in all of our social media platforms, or visit our website, www.miamidade.gov/advocacy. Thanks. Until next time.